Have you ever had those days where you're doing everything right, everything you possibly can, and yet nothing seems to move? You wake up, try again, put in the effort, and still life feels heavy on your shoulders. Maybe you're studying every day but the words won't come out when you speak. Maybe you're kind to everyone, working late, pushing through, and yet the results still don't show up. I get that feeling. And if you're in that exact moment right now, I want you to know, I see you. You're not weak. You're just exhausted. Before we get too comfortable, take a moment to like this episode and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I share here on Haseeb English Podcast. And tell me, what time is it for you right now? Where in the world are you listening? I love seeing how far our little global family has spread. Alright, let's begin. There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. It's not about how long you stay in bed. It's about how long you've been carrying that invisible weight. The weight of being strong for too long. The weight of pretending you're fine. The weight of trying again and again even when you're not sure it's making a difference. We rarely talk about that kind of tired. The quiet kind. The one you hide behind a smile. Maybe you've been pushing yourself to learn a skill, a language, a routine, a habit. But progress feels like it's happening in slow motion. Like you're moving but staying in the same place. Or maybe you've been showing up for everyone around you, being patient, being helpful, being gentle, and inside, you wonder if anyone even notices. This kind of tired doesn't shout. It whispers. And sometimes those whispers sound like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should just stop trying. But here's something I've learned. Something I hope finds its way to your heart too. Even when nothing on the outside seems to change, something deep inside you is always shifting. Your patience stretches. Your resilience strengthens. Your quiet courage grows roots. Like a tree that builds its foundation underground before a single leaf appears, your progress may be invisible right now, but that doesn't make it any less real. And maybe this moment you're in right now, this heavy moment, is not the final chapter. Maybe it's the beginning of a softer, deeper kind of strength. Not the loud, confident kind, but the gentle, steady kind that whispers back, I'm still here. You don't have to feel strong to keep going. You just have to go slowly, go gently. If today is one of those days where your energy is low, your thoughts won't quiet down, and your heart feels like it's been running a marathon, let me remind you of something important. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to slow down. But you are not going to quit. Why? Because you've already come too far. Because what you're working towards still matters. Because someone, maybe even the future version of you, is counting on you not to disappear. One breath, one step, one small effort at a time, you're still growing. Even now. Even here. Maybe all you needed today was to hear someone say it's okay to be tired and it's still okay to keep going. And if you're still listening right now, thank you. It means you haven't walked away from yourself. And that's something to be proud of. There's a quiet strength in the moments we continue even when we don't feel ready. You know those mornings where your heart says, I can't, but your feet touch the floor anyway? Those afternoons where you feel unsure, but you still raise your hand, open your book, repeat that English sentence, press play on another episode? That right there is strength. We often imagine strength as something loud or heroic. But maybe real courage is quieter. Maybe the strongest people are the ones who show up without waiting to feel brave. They simply take one step, one word, one small action. You don't need perfect motivation to show up. You just need willingness. I've seen this in so many learners. You tell me, I didn't understand everything, but I listened. Or, I made mistakes today, but I tried anyway. That is real power. Sometimes we confuse doing our best with feeling our best, but they're not the same. You can be tired and still give your best. You can be afraid and still move forward. Showing up doesn't mean you're confident. It means you care. And because you care, you stay in the process, even when it's slow, even when it's boring, even when the results take time. Let me share a story from my own life. When I first started recording for Haseeb English Podcast, I didn't feel confident at all. I wasn't sure if anyone would listen. My voice sounded strange to me. I worried about my delivery, my ideas, my style. I almost didn't upload the first episode. But I did. And no, it wasn't perfect, far from it. But someone listened. And then someone else. And before I knew it, messages started coming in. Your voice helps me stay calm. I finally understand English better. I feel motivated again. None of that would have happened if I had waited for the perfect moment. I wasn't ready, but I showed up. And that was enough. That's the secret. Growth doesn't happen because you feel amazing. Growth happens because you keep going, even on the days you don't. Every time you show up for your learning, your healing, your dreams, you build trust with yourself. You rebuild that inner friendship that says, I can rely on me. And little by little, that small voice inside grows louder. I may not be perfect, but I won't abandon myself. So today, if you learn even one new English word, that matters. If you wrote one sentence, listened to one story, repeated one phrase, or sat through one uncomfortable moment, that's enough. You don't have to win the whole war today. Just don't walk away from it. There will be days when everything feels pointless. Days where you ask yourself, was any of that even worth it? And you won't always see the results right away. But underneath the surface, something is always forming. Your consistency is planting roots. You just haven't seen the flowers yet. So if your heart feels heavy but you're still trying, if your doubts are loud but you still move forward, if you're unsure about tomorrow but still show up today, you're already doing more than enough. Don't rush. Beautiful things need time to grow. Keep showing up. Even with shaky hands. Courage isn't measured by volume. It's measured by returning to what matters again and again. Take a quiet moment and think about everything you've already survived. Not just the big dramatic moments, but the quiet ones. The mornings you got up even when your heart felt heavy. The days you showed up for work, class, family, even when no one knew how hard it was. You've walked through storms that left no trace on the outside, but you still carried the weight of them inside. And yet you're here. Still breathing. Still learning. Still trying. We forget that. We forget how much we've overcome. Because life moves fast. We're always looking at what's next, not what we've already climbed through. But sometimes growth means pausing and saying, I made it this far. Maybe you've faced moments where your confidence shattered. Where your plans fell apart. Where someone you trusted hurt you. Maybe you've had to start over more than once. And still, here you are, listening, wanting to grow, wanting to become better. That is not weakness. That is strength. Deep, quiet, unshakable strength. People think strong people feel confident all the time. But real strength looks more like this. You cry, but you still continue. You doubt, but you still try. You fall, but you still rise. Over and over. That's strength. I remember a student I once taught. I'll call her May. She was gentle, always sat quietly, always apologized for her English. Sorry, I'm slow. Sorry, I'm not good. But here's the thing, May never missed a class. Even on days where she looked exhausted, even when she made mistakes, even when she stumbled through every sentence, she kept showing up. Her notebook was filled with messy, colorful notes. And slowly, week after week, something shifted. It wasn't just her English improving. It was the way she spoke to herself. One day she raised her hand and said, "I used to think I was bad at English. Now I think I'm just learning. And that's okay." That simple, soft sentence stayed with me. Because it's not just about language. It's about life. It's about how we survive self-doubt, how we move forward when nothing feels certain, how we learn to be gentle with ourselves. You've done this too. You've lived through heartbreak, loneliness, failure, fear, and still, you didn't give up. You might not give yourself credit for that, but you should. You're still here. And that means you're stronger than the part of you that wanted to quit. So today, instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect yet, try whispering, "I'm proud of what I've survived. I trust the version of me who keeps showing up." Because that strength, the one that carried you through every hard day, is still inside you. We live in a world obsessed with quick results. Lose weight fast. Learn English fast. Become successful overnight. But real transformation, the kind that lasts, is slow. And often, it's invisible. Like a plant you water every day. You give it sunlight. You take care of it. For a long time, it looks like nothing's happening. Then one morning, a tiny green sprout appears. Not because of what you did that morning, but because of what you did every morning before that. That's what real progress looks like. Quiet. Steady. Invisible at first. It grows inside repetition, inside patience, inside consistency. You might feel stuck right now. Maybe you're practicing English every day and still struggling to speak. Maybe you're working on your mindset but old thoughts still return. Maybe you're showing up for your life but still feel like something is missing. But remember, change doesn't always feel like change. Sometimes it feels like nothing. Sometimes it feels boring. Sometimes it feels slow. And then suddenly, one day, you catch yourself speaking more clearly, thinking more calmly, handling a moment that used to break you, saying no without guilt, smiling without forcing it. And you realize, I didn't used to feel this strong. That is the quiet magic of consistency. Let me remind you gently, just because you don't see progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Think about the habits you've built, the words you've learned, the small ways you've started treating yourself with more kindness. That is progress. That is growth. That is momentum, quiet but powerful. But we don't always notice it because we're too focused on the finish line. We tell ourselves, I'll be proud when I'm fluent. I'll be happy when I stop overthinking. I'll feel confident when I reach the goal. But what if the real transformation is happening right now? What if every time you sit down to learn, even for 10 minutes, you're becoming someone more focused, more patient, more trusting of yourself? What if all these tiny choices to keep trying are shaping your life in ways you can't yet see? You are not where you were 3 months ago. You are not the same person you used to be. You may not be where you want to be, but you've moved. And that counts. So if today feels slow, if your progress feels invisible, if you're wondering whether your effort matters, this is your sign, it does. You're growing, even in the silence, even in the waiting, even in the mess. Don't rush. The most beautiful things take time, healing, learning, becoming. And when you trust the process, time becomes your friend instead of your enemy. Sometimes the most important decision you'll ever make is simply to keep going. Not because it's easy. Not because you feel strong, but because something inside whispers, this still matters. Maybe your dreams are quiet right now. Maybe they don't look impressive to others. Maybe your dream is just to speak confidently, or feel peaceful, or believe in yourself again. Whatever it is, you're allowed to want it. You're allowed to grow toward it. You're allowed to take your time. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to be fast. You just need to not give up. You don't owe anyone perfection. You only owe yourself patience, presence, and belief. There will be difficult days, days where everything feels blurry, where your thoughts tell you to stop, where your progress hides. But that is not a sign to quit. That is a sign that you're transforming. Because growth is uncomfortable. Healing is uneven. Progress is quiet. But it's all real. And the fact that you're here, listening, means you're still in the game. You haven't abandoned yourself. You haven't stopped hoping. And that matters. More than you realize. You don't need to prove anything to the world. Just stay close to what matters to you. Even if no one applauds. Even if the progress is small. Even if the path feels lonely. Keep showing up. Keep breathing through the doubt. Keep choosing the version of yourself who refuses to quit. Because life becomes better when you stop running from yourself and start standing with yourself. That's what not giving up truly means, not turning away from the life you still want. You've survived so much already. You're allowed to continue. And I'm here, cheering you on quietly in the background. So today, say it softly if you need to. Whisper it. But say it. I will not give up. Because deep down you know, you're not done yet. There is more waiting for you. More love. More life. More learning. More growth. More you, still unfolding. You're still becoming, and that's a beautiful thing. Before we end, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are simply in the middle of becoming someone you've never been before. And of course it feels uncertain. Growth always does. If today was hard, I hope you rest well tonight. Not just the physical kind of rest, but the kind that reminds your heart. I don't have to fight every second. I'm allowed to be gentle. I'm allowed to breathe. Let tomorrow take care of itself. Tonight just rest. You are doing better than you think. And if this episode touched you, tell me in the comments. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is right now. I love seeing our little worldwide circle grow. Take care of your heart. And remember, I believe in you.